Here now with North Dakota State quarterback Easton Stick. And Easton, let me first ask you, you just got done playing, your championship game was just a week and a half ago, so you've jumped into this pre-draft process really, really quickly. What's that been like for you, just having to transition now into your post-college career?
Yeah, like you said, it was a quick transition. You blink and you go from celebrating with your guys in Frisco, another national championship, to you're out here and learning a new system, getting familiar with new faces, and trying to put your best foot forward and have an opportunity to keep playing. But it's been fun. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Well, fans have had many, many opportunities to see you play on national TV over the course of the last couple of years. But for fans that maybe didn't see you, give us a quick scouting report about yourself and what you think you'll bring to the next level.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. We played under center at North Dakota State, and had a lot of control of the run game, and shift, trade, motion, all that stuff. It was pretty complex for the college level, and obviously moving forward it'll be much more complex, and there's more to learn. But I feel like I'm prepared in that aspect, and the preparation, and the Monday through Friday, Saturday, that preparation is really important to me. I feel like I'm an intuitive player and have the ability to make the first guy miss, extend plays, whether it's extending it in the pocket or out of the pocket, the ability to throw from different platforms. And I think the biggest thing is, I've played a lot of football, and I've been around a lot of good teams, and I think that's something, being a winner, that's something that carries over.
And then one area where the feedback you've gotten from scouts so far that you kind of know, this is an area I have to prove myself over the course of the next couple of months.
Yeah, well, I think the big thing is obviously coming from the FCS level, just showing that I can compete at the highest level. And this week's obviously a good opportunity, playing with some of the best guys in the country, and learning new terminology and all that stuff, just showing that I can come out here, play fast, play ball, and I really believe football is football. There's some really good examples, especially at my position. One obviously pretty well, but you look at Garoppolo and Joe Flacco, Fitzpatrick, guys that have played at the same level I did, that came in and were able to play pretty quick at the next level. And so, there's precedent for it, and I believe I can fit in that group.
All right, well, you brought him up, so I got to ask you now, what has your relationship been like with Carson Wentz throughout the course of this process? You were his backup there with the Bison before he went on to the NFL. What's that relationship been like? You guys are still constantly communicating?
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine. Was fortunate, obviously, to play with him in Fargo for 2 years. Learned a lot from him, and he's been a really good friend to me. We're pretty close and stay in close contact, so fortunate to have him in my back pocket a little bit.
All right, so who's a player that's here that really kind of has stood out and opened your eyes a little bit so far that you've worked with on offense?
Yeah, we got some really good players at the skill positions. You look at running backs, man, all of them can get out of the backfield and catch. And that's something I think that's huge in an offense, and the ability to get to a check down, versus coverages and hit big plays. Keyshawn Johnson at wide receiver, I think is a really good player. Man, there's a lot of good guys out here, and up front there's some big dudes, and you look at them and they're athletic and can move around. So I feel really fortunate to be a part of this game and playing with these guys.
Here now with Nebraska running back Devine Ozigbo. And Devine, for fans who have yet to watch you play, give us a quick scouting report of yourself.
I would say I'm a bigger back that, kind of brings the skill sets the smaller back can provide. So you try to be pretty balanced and, like a hybrid type, and, try to make plays when they're there.
Yeah, that's what one of the things that stood out to me was your contact balance. That ability to stay alive off that first contact. Is that something that you've kind of always had throughout the course of your career, or did you kind of develop that as you got bigger and stronger?
I definitely think it was something like I had, but I had to develop it. It was one thing, as the competition rises, your skill has to match. So, just being able to take the shots and keep going. That's one thing I'll be focused at Nebraska, and that's one thing I slowly got better at.
And what's one area where, in talking with scouts, that you feel I know I want to have to prove this over the course of the next couple of months?
It's honestly just showing overall that this past year that I had, the way my kind of career went, was kind of 3 years of F, and then kind of blew up. So I'm just trying to show to everybody that this past year that I had is who I am as a back, and that I can bring that consistency to a team.
What's one part of playing the running back position maybe fans don't necessarily think about, and media don't think about, but really, really important, and something that you have to put a lot of time and effort into?
Just understanding the game within the game, which is like pass pro, and just knowing what the O-line's doing, knowing what the quarterback's seeing, and how you can help, and because the faster you can identify, the better you can be at it. The blocks will be a little easier, just getting smarter with the whole process. So doing that's one thing I feel like it's hard to see from the stands, but as a back, you got to focus in on it.
Did that change for you with the change in system, or was that something that just going through this part of the process that you feel like, all right, I know I've got to step my game up here?
It's honestly something like I've always been interested in. Like I actually like the pass, or I like the schematics, the scheme of it, figuring out who I got to get. But just being quicker and being better at the actual block itself. I think that's kind of where where the level has to rise, especially coming to this program where these guys are future NFL players and just matching the speed and getting it done right.
All right, so I got to ask you now, zone game,
So,
gap scheme. What do you kind of prefer? You feel like you could run either, but what do you kind of lean towards more in terms of your future success?
I think if I can run it at a gun, I like the zone. Okay. But if it's a gap scheme where I got to hit something hard, just going straight at it works too.
Yeah, I figured you would probably be more the latter just because of the way you play. Yeah. You had a nice shot there with Joe Deneen from Kansas in the middle of the practice today. Yeah, it was a nice little pop. Is that something that physical element that you feel like I've always kind of had that mentality?
Oh yeah, so like I'm not afraid to hit. They always say in Nebraska, run behind your pads, and that's something all the backs try to implement in their game. And I kind of feel like that's something that if you're doing it often enough throughout a game, it starts to wear the team down. Especially if you can do it a little bit longer, then that's when the big runs start happening. These 4- and 3-yard gains start turning into 20, 30 big plays. So that's something I like to do a lot.
And then my last question for you: the Big Ten, a lot of really talented defenders. Was there one guy throughout the course of this season that really stood out to you?
Oh yes, sir, Devin Bush. That man, aside from the backers on Nebraska, yeah. Devin Bush is an opponent that I played that I had a lot of respect for. Just because of the way he played, and how he went out, how he took advantage of things.
Here now with Elon, offensive lineman Oli Udoh, and Oli, talk about this experience because this has obviously been kind of a little bit of a whirlwind for a lot of these guys. Has this been about what you expected it would be coming down here to St. Petersburg?
Yeah, I basically was just like expecting to play against some of the best players in the nation, and that's what I got. It's been tough, but I've been having a lot of fun out here.
What's been the feedback from scouts in terms of the areas where you've been standing out? Give us a quick scouting report of what you'll bring to the next level.
I've been pass protecting pretty good at both guard and tackle. I'd say run game could use a little bit of improvement, but has been solid all week, basically.
And you were a 4-year starter at right tackle for Elon. You've played a little bit of guard here at the Shrine game. What's that been like for you, and do you feel comfortable moving inside?
Yeah, it's been fun, to be honest with you. Like, coming into this game, I wasn't expecting to play it as much. Was hoping that I would get more tackle reps, but after getting at guard and just feeling comfortable because I haven't played it since freshman year, it's been really, really fun.
What's been an underrated part, or I should say, what is an underrated part of playing on the offensive line? Maybe that fans and media don't necessarily think about, but something that's definitely on your mind each and every day.
Just the underappreciation of offensive linemen, which comes with being an offensive lineman. And the fact is, you probably won't ever hear about an offensive line unless they're really bad. Yeah. So it comes with the position, and I love it for that. I'm not really all into the media and getting the spotlight treatment, so it works perfectly. And then tell me about who's a player that has really kind of caught your eye this week, that maybe it's an offensive lineman, maybe it's a defensive lineman, anybody that really kind of opened your eyes as standing out so far? I don't even remember what team he plays for. I think Cincinnati, the defensive tackle. Yeah, he's been fire every single day. Here now with Villanova offensive tackle Ethan Greenidge. And Ethan, obviously from the Philadelphia area, playing for Villanova. Talk about what this experience has been like coming down to St. Petersburg and playing against some of the best players in the country.
Oh, it's been definitely great. Just seeing all the guys and getting together with them has been really cool. Obviously the competition's up, but I'm feeling like I fit in right here. I feel like I can play with these boys easy. And it's no different than the CA. The CA is a tough league, definitely, but it's feeling real good. Good seeing Temple guys, stuff like that. It's a little reminisce. Obviously, we won that game. I got to make sure we shout that out. But,
you were talking to a Temple guy, so you're way to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So what's obviously there have been a lot of talent, down here. Has there been one guy that has really stood out to you?
In terms of defense or offense?
Yeah, either way.
I noticed a bunch of the small school old linemen have been doing really, really good. Obviously Udoh has been really good. I know Morgan State has been really good. I like how we can come here and just show that we can play. Obviously everybody has a whole AA knock that we have, but I feel like there's no difference in any of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of the feedback you've gotten from scouts, has there been an area where you kind of have to improve on moving forward? That you want to kind of prove yourself the next couple of months?
Yeah, I know I gotta get my hips down and stuff like that. Obviously technique always has to improve. I know I can finish guys definitely some more, and obviously there's always stuff to work on as an offensive lineman. You can never have a perfect game, you can never be a perfect player, but there's always stuff to improve on. So definitely.
And then for fans who haven't watched you play, give us a scouting. What are the things that you feel like you do best in moving on to the next level?
I feel like I can play multiple positions. I'm pretty good everywhere. I feel like I move really well for my size. I'm about 325, 330 right now. I feel like I really move good for that, and my feet are pretty good. So stuff like that is really good. You guys see that on Saturday.
Yeah, and you've got that basketball background. How, does that help you? When you ever think about that, how that's kind of impacted you playing on the gridiron?
Yeah, 100%. I know basketball's all about feet and stuff like that. I was in the post down low a lot, and that's all about footwork and positioning, and it really helped me transition to football because obviously the offensive line is all about feet as well. So it helped me transition to get right on what I know how to do, and it's been a blessing ever since.
Has there been one offensive lineman or a couple offensive linemen that you watched, maybe that you don't pattern your game after because everybody's different, but that you enjoy watching the most?
I love watching the Georgia kid, Lamont. Yeah, he's a heck of a player. Like I remember when I first saw him, I was like, oh, he's from Georgia, like obviously big time and everything, but he's a heck of a player. He gets good leverage. He does everything right. Obviously, the Florida State kid's really good as well. Obviously, I feel like our whole line, they got something new that everybody else just can't do, but like individually. But it's just really, really cool. I like watching all them boys get right.
Lamont's got strong hands, man.
Yeah,
he gets you. Like
he latches on. He's like he got some grip, man. He gets you. You can't let him get on you. You're done if he does.
Here now with Morgan State offensive lineman Josh Miles. And Josh, I say offensive lineman because you had spent most of your college career at tackle. Here you're playing a little bit of guard. What's that experience been like for you so far?
It's been awesome, honestly. I didn't think I would enjoy guard as much as I have. I played a little tackle today, moved to the right tackle Monday. Having a great time, man. I'm enjoying the moving around, learning different positions.
Has this experience been about what you expected coming down? It's been a while since any Morgan State guys have been through the Shrine Game, so has it been about what you expected?
I came in with an open mind, man. I didn't really know what to expect. I'm actually the first Morgan State guy to play in the Shrine Game. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving it, man. The Shrine visit was absolutely awesome. Getting to know some of my teammates, I'm loving it down here.
Who has been a teammate that has really stood out to you most so far?
QB from Ole Miss, he is absolutely a dog, man. But Oli Udoh, he's number 57, the guy from Elon. He's really good. He's shown some great technique. My roommate Lamont Gallard, he's another great guy. Good hustle, likes to finish blocks just like myself. So I'm learning a lot from these guys. I'm learning a lot from my coach also, Coach L-Dub Lunda. He's awesome.
Give us a scouting report of yourself. What are the best traits you feel that you'll bring to your future NFL team?
Sure. I'm hard-nosed, man. I'm very aggressive, very athletic. I finish every play. But also I'm a hard worker, man. I'm going to get in the weight room. I'm going to get a lot stronger in my time wherever I land, hopefully in Philly. But I'm definitely gonna bring some athleticism, some enthusiasm to the game.
And then has there been an area where, in talking with scouts, that this is where I kind of have to prove myself over the next couple of months?
Just the versatility. I don't think many of them expected me to be able to play on the edge or be able to play the right side. So showing them that I'm good on both sides, and then showing them I can play left guard and left tackle. So finishing stuff up like that.
Has there been one area of your game where maybe you look at an NFL player and say, this is kind of how I pattern my game after this guy in terms of what I do?
It's a bunch of great tackles in the league right now. Some of my favorites are Tyron Smith. He's a very technical guy. So I try to emulate him. Big Jason Peters for the Eagles. He's a dog, man. Big, strong guy, very physical, moves his feet. So I try to emulate that. Trent Williams from the Redskins. I love his game, similar to Jason Peters. Very big guy, but moves his feet, very aggressive. Love Bakhtiari also, how good his set is and how long his arms are and being able to use his arms. I have long arms also, so I feel like I can take elements of their game and apply it to myself.
Here now with Michigan's offensive lineman Juwann Bushell-Beatty. Juwann, give us a quick scouting report of what you think you'll bring to the next level.
So I think that something I'm really good at is gap scheme plays, coming down, blocking and through technique, running through. I think I'm really good on contact with double teams. I think that's probably one of my biggest assets as a player. And then just like my explosiveness through blocks.
And what's one area that, in talking with scouts, that you feel like you need to improve on moving forward to the next level?
One thing I definitely need to improve on going forward is just closing on the second level with backers. Playing in open space. NFL is a lot of fast guys. Everyone's a good athlete. So I think one of the biggest things going forward is just being able to play in space, blocking second level guys effectively, and just being more consistent.
And then, what's an underrated part of playing on the offensive line? Maybe that fans don't necessarily think about it. These guys have to deal with on a down-by-down basis, but very, very important for the position.
There's a lot of thinking involved in the offensive line. A lot of people just think that we, just run into people and just take up space, but it's all schemed up. There's a lot of details that go into that stuff just to have it play to be effective. So I think the biggest thing is just knowing and understanding your offense So the mental aspect of the game is probably one of the biggest things that most people don't know.
You seem like a very thoughtful guy. Like, is that something that you kind of embrace? Is that aspect of the game?
Yeah, I consider myself to be pretty insightful. I wouldn't consider myself to be the smartest guy in the field, but I'd say insightful. I do tend to think a lot, and it's probably one of my biggest assets, also probably one of my biggest curses. But I mean, yeah, man, I just enjoy what I do, so I'm just out here having fun.
What's the obviously you want to be able to show that you're versatile, but what's the one position you feel like, I feel most comfortable in this role moving to the next level?
Most comfortable, I'd probably just say tackle, right tackle more specifically. Just I have most of my college experience there. I feel like, I've created a name for myself playing right tackle, and I think going forward, just continuing to do what I do and make it more consistent.
And then who's been one player that's really kind of surprised you or really impressed you over the course of the first couple days of practice here?
I'd say the guards in general have been playing real well. I think there's some good players. It's hard to just name guys specifically, but the offensive guard has just been real impressive.
Michigan, obviously a very talented defensive line. Who tell us a little bit about some of those guys in that front that are coming into the NFL?
So who got Chase and Rashawn?
Yes, correct.
So man, they're just hardworking dudes. Chase has a motor unknown to mankind. Pretty much, Rashawn, strong, powerful, explosive dude, and they're both really smart. And they just play instinctually, just like great defensive players do. So I think they have a great upside, and I think going forward they're going to be very successful.
All right, so I asked you that first because my next question was the Big Ten had a lot of really talented defensive linemen this year. Outside of the guys from Michigan, who was a defensive lineman that you faced this year that really impressed you, and you thought maybe this is kind of the best guy I've seen all year?
Probably have to go with Sharif Miller. I thought Sharif Miller was a pretty good player. I thought he had good speed, he had good quickness. So I had to be on my P's and Q's that game. And like I said, there's a lot of good players in the Big Ten, a lot of good defensive ends, but he stuck out to me the most.
Here now with Kansas defensive tackle Daniel Wise. And Daniel, for fans who have yet to see you play, give us a quick scouting report of yourself.
Hard player, real passionate. Pass game is my strength.
Without question, that's the number one thing that stands out. When I watch Daniel, you're flying all over, sideline to sideline, down the field, making stops. Is that something that you come from a football family that was kind of indoctrinating you early, or is that kind of the culture that it was built in that Kansas defense?
A little bit of both. Something that's been taught to me early as a young kid. Dad being the football coach, kind of things that I need to do: run around the field, chase down the ball, get after the quarterback, and definitely one of the things that we instilled in the Kansas defense.
And you've played a lot of different spots over the course of your career as well. What's your favorite technique, your favorite position to play on that D-line?
3-tech.
Yeah, why is that?
One-on-one, I can get after in the middle.
Yeah, you use that athleticism, that quick first step. What's one part of the playing the defensive tackle spot that maybe fans don't necessarily think about that makes it a difficult position to play?
It's grimy. You got to get in there. It's trenchy. Sometimes you can face double teams. Sometimes it's a lot going on, but you got to be stout, and that's one thing I can do.
And is there one area where scouts have said, kind of consensus that they want to see you improve on moving forward through the draft process?
Strength in the run game is something I can improve on, and rightfully so.
Is that like a physical standpoint or like a technique standpoint or a little bit of both?
Technique more so.
Here now with Temple defensive lineman Michael Dogbe. And Michael, take us through, for fans who have yet to see you play, give us a quick scouting report of what you'll bring to the next level.
I feel like I bring a mean pass rush. I'm a guy who's going to be aggressive. I play with my physical ability. I don't really rely on talent. I'm a high effort guy, and I like using my hands.
Yeah, you are a high effort guy, and you play sideline to sideline every game that I've watched, and you show that athleticism, that versatility as well to be able to line up and down the line. What's your favorite position to play up front on the defensive line? Because you line up everywhere from zero outside.
I feel like I'm more natural at a 3-tech position, playing outside that guard. It's just real natural to me. I feel like I can pass rush a lot effectively there.
And what's one area in the feedback you've gotten from scouts that you know that you want to kind of improve on going to the next level?
Just working the run, using my hands, my leverage more. Playing the run, I can definitely get better.
And obviously, coming from another Temple guy, the Temple Tough is certainly a culture that's been put up there in North Broad Street. Talk about the defensive linemen that have come out from Temple over the last half decade. Really, it's been year after year guys have come out. Have you had a lot of communication with a lot of those guys that going back to Temple?
Yeah. So Terrence Knighton, he'll hit me up on Twitter. Sure. Mohamed Wilkerson the same, and I still talk to guys like Matt Ioannidis, Sharif Finch, Hassan Reddick, Jacob Martin, Julian Taylor. All those guys really stay in touch and just guide me and give me advice.
Sure. Are there any other guys, maybe non-Temple guys that you kind of pattern your game after, and you feel like that's the kind of role you can play at the next level?
I love the way Aaron Donald plays, just the way he uses his hands and the way he pass rushes. So before my senior year, I would watch a lot of his tape just to see if I can take anything from it.
And then what's your favorite pass rush move? Because you talk about how it's not just about athleticism. You've got the ability to win as a pass rusher. What's your favorite move? Your go-to?
I like to set him up and hit him with a counter inside, so that's really rushing up A, come back in the B gap. I love doing that.
Here now with BYU linebacker Sione Takitaki. And Sione, just want to talk to you about this transition. What's this been like for you? Has this experience been about what you expected it would be coming down here?
Yeah, it's been a good experience. Come out here with all these great athletes and compete with the best. So, I like the coaches. We have tons of great coaches, and it was good to get a feel for, how the next level is going to be. And so the whole transition has been well, and I'm learning every day. Every minute I'm learning something new, and so I really enjoy it.
And you've been a very, very productive player over the course of your career with BYU. For fans who have yet to see you play, give us a quick scouting report of what you feel you can do best in the NFL.
Yeah, I feel like I have a high motor. I can run sideline to sideline. I'm a linebacker that can play the 3 down and can run for days. And so I feel like I'm an intelligent kid who knows schemes and all that stuff. And so I feel like if whoever gets me is going to get a elite linebacker that's going to do his job every day.
And you've played a number of different positions there for BYU.
Yes,
what's your favorite role to play? In terms of all the different things you were asked to do.
I like. It's kind of. I would say that's a hard question because I like the mic and I like the wheel. And so I say those are 50-50 because, with the wheel, you get to blitz off the edge and stuff and get to the quarterback and the mic, man, you're making the calls and you're in every tackle, you're silent, you're right there in the middle of it all. And so I would say, both of those positions I really enjoy both of those positions.
You won Defensive Player of the Year for your team last year when you guys had Fred Warner, who went in the second round. You've played with a lot of very talented players. Have you been keeping in touch with guys like Fred, and what's that been like communicating with guys that have gone on from BYU to the NFL?
Yeah, man, I've talked to tons of guys that went from BYU to the NFL, but Fred, I talked to him quite a bit. He just kind of prepping me up, letting me know, hey man, this next level is no joke. Take care of your body, all the little things, and so it's good to get that close input, with somebody at the next level who's doing really well. Be like you said, BYU had a good linebacker last year with Fred Warner, and now he's doing big things, and so I hope to be that guy next up. I know I can fill that role and do my best, get out there, do my job.
And then lastly, what feedback have you gotten from scouts and from teams in terms of the things that you want to see improve going to the NFL?
We haven't really talked really about what I need to improve. It's all been good things, with the scouts. They're talking to me about how, they like my motor and how I play sideline to sideline, things like that. They like how I played, DN all 2017. I played Will, Mike, and so they like the versatility that I have in those roles and schemes. And so it's all been good input, but I hope this, today, I'm gonna have a lot more interviews, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, Sione, you've also been through a lot of adversity throughout the course of your life, throughout the course of your career. How do you think that has helped shape you and get you ready for this whole process?
Oh, everything that happened at BYU, I feel like, needed to happen. I was like a knucklehead kid coming in, and I left a really mature kid. I'm married. I'm a LDS kid. I'm Mormon. And so I got married in Temple with my wife, and got right with the man above. And so, things are on the up for me. Even though I started off real slow, I got suspended for a lot of games, missed the whole year. But, I feel like I had to go through those struggles, to find who I am now. And so I appreciate everything I went through.
In a draft class full of great stories, I think you're one of the best. Here now with Colorado safety Evan Worthington. And Evan, for people who haven't watched you play, give us a quick scouting report of what you'll bring to the next level.
I'm a versatile player. I could play almost any position in the back end, safety, nickel, corner, maybe even linebacker, so I just got a lot of things coming with me. Yeah,
that's one thing standing out that, watching your film is you're a guy that wore a lot of hats for that Colorado defense. You were asked to do a lot of different things, and you showed that versatility, that ability to be able to do it. So my question for you is, out of all those hats that you wore, what was your favorite role in the secondary? My favorite role has got to be safety. I feel more comfortable back there. I get to do more tackling, and then I still get to cover people. What's an underrated part of playing in the back end, I will say, in the center field spot that really, fans and media maybe don't think about? You gotta adjust everybody. Like, safeties are pretty much the quarterback of the defense, so you got to know almost everything on the defense, or pretty much everything. And then you've overcome a lot of adversity over the course of your career at Colorado. How has that really kind of built you up to where you are now today? It definitely changed my whole life. Ever since I had my son, it just turned me all the way around. Gotta work for him now. Yeah. And is there one area of your game that scouts have kind of pointed to and said, you know, we want to see you kind of prove that you can do this over the course of the next couple of months?
Yeah, they want to see my coverage skills get better, so I'm working on that right now while I'm training up in Seattle.
Have you been, you know, the transition now with NFL secondaries, everybody obviously, over the last decade, everyone's playing more sub-package, but you're starting to see more specialized roles with bigger safeties that can cover. Is that something that's kind of in the back of your mind that you want to prove that, hey, at the very least as a rookie, I can come in and kind of fill one of those roles?
Yeah, I could definitely come in and fill that role, you know. I've been doing it at Colorado in the Pac-12 with fast receivers, so I'm definitely ready for that.
And then my last question for you is who's a receiver or any offensive player that has really stood out to you so far through the first couple of days of practice?
Probably Keyshawn Johnson.
Yep.
He's pretty good.
Why is that?
You know, he's fast. He's got some height to him, and he's made some pretty nice catches that I've seen.
Here now with Oklahoma State quarterback Taylor Cornelius. And Taylor, take us into the mind of a quarterback coming down to an all-star game event like this. To me, I think that's the position where it's the biggest transition for guys trying to make this jump. A lot to take on and put onto your plate early. What's that transition been like?
It's been fun. But at the same time, you know, you got to put in the hours to learn the plays and, you know, get with those guys on the side. But at the same time, you know, the first day was a little stressful, but today it, you know, all started slowing down the second day.
Now, what do they do? Do they just kind of keep things simple and, you know, make it so that it's easier for you guys to digest?
Yeah, they try and keep it as, you know, as simple as possible. We don't have too many plays going in. Just installed the first day and then just kind of mastering it the rest of the week.
All right, so for fans who have yet to see you play, well, give us a quick scouting report of what you can bring to the next level.
Just the ability to make plays outside the pocket too, as well as inside the pocket, and then run a little bit.
And what's one area in talking with scouts that you know that you have to kind of improve your game going to the next level?
Just playing under center and playing in a huddle as well.
Well, what's one underrated part of this whole transition that, you know, maybe fans and media don't necessarily think about, but, you know, it's been something that's been put on your plate really quickly here?
You know, just getting a full playbook, you know, right when you walk in and they tell you to go learn it, and then figuring it all out on your own kind of at the same time.
Yeah, sure. And then is there one guy that you've kind of watched in the NFL, maybe that you don't model your game after, but you know that you kind of watch and say this is a guy that I really enjoy watching him play in the league?
You know, got to watch Patrick Mahomes play at Tech when we played him, and then also Aaron Rodgers as well.
Sure. And then you backed up Mason Rudolph throughout the course of your career. This was your first year as a starter. What's your communication been like with Mason? Because obviously he's backing up Ben Roethlisberger now in Pittsburgh. What's that communication been like?
It's been good. We still talk just about every week. You know, whatever it is, it might not only be about football, but just, you know, life and hanging out and stuff like that. But he's helped me throughout this process too, you know, give me advice and what little nuances and stuff like that.
Here now with North Alabama safety Chris Johnson. And Chris, for fans who have yet to watch you play, give us a quick scouting report of yourself.
So long, rangy guy, ball hawk, love to play the ball, but can come down and be in the box too.
Yeah, is that a kind of a role that you feel like most comfortable with, all the different things you were asked to do for North Alabama? What was your favorite role?
Oh, absolutely. Just being the guy in the back that makes all the calls, and then again being that high safety, just being able to make plays in the ball.
Yeah. And what's one area of your game that, in talking with scouts, that you want to try and improve on and really kind of prove yourself over the next couple of months?
Absolutely. Just getting in the box, being physical in the run game, driving my feet through tackles. That's pretty much what I need to work on.
Has there been a player watching in the NFL that, you know, maybe you don't necessarily pattern your game off of, but that you really just kind of enjoy watching the most?
Definitely Harrison Smith with the Vikings. I just feel like he's a complete safety. I mean, he can come down and be in the box and play the run, or he can drop high safety, make some plays in the ball, and change the game.
Yeah, obviously today's game is all about sub-package and all the different roles that defensive backs and safeties can all play. Is that something that you've kind of been keeping an eye on, and have teams talked to you about maybe playing like a specialized role in the secondary?
Right, so I've played, you know, every role in the back seven, so I feel comfortable with doing all of that, and I have talked to a few teams about being able to play, you know, free, strong, maybe a little slot corner, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. And then lastly, who's the best player that you've seen here this week, the guy that really has kind of opened your eyes in terms of their talent level?
I think everyone's been great here. Definitely the receiving core came out and gave us a good look. On defense, there's been a guy actually on the West team. I've been watching some of his clips, Daniel Wise. He's been putting in some work. But on the East team, I think the whole defense is doing well. And I think overall we're competing, and I think we're going to come out and get a win Saturday.
Here now with Michigan safety Tyree Kinnel. And Tyree, just want to talk to you about your game overall. And for fans that haven't had a chance to see you play, give yourself a quick scouting report.
I'm a great leader in the back end, a very communicated guy that's going to, get everyone lined up and see the field really well and read the quarterback. Feel great that I can make open field tackles in the back end when plays break loose, and I'm just an overall guy that's a good safety that could bring the whole package.
And talking with scouts, what has been the general feedback in terms of an area you want to see yourself improve moving forward?
I think a lot of the scouts are, wait until I run the 40, and I feel extremely confident with the 40 that's coming up with my training that I've been doing these last couple weeks. So I'm excited just to show my skills this week, and then hopefully to get to the combine, or if not, run well on my pro day.
You're obviously a leader in that Michigan defense. Who would you say is probably the other big leader from that team that really stands out to you that's moving into this draft?
The ones that's moving in the draft is definitely David Long and Devin Bush in the back end. That back seven with working with Devin Bush and David Long was extremely exciting this year. They even though they're juniors, they were veterans back there, and I'm excited for their journey in the next level.
And then is there a player that you kind of pattern your game after that you look forward to the NFL?
Oh yeah, man. I watch all kinds of guys in the NFL and study their game. I wouldn't say I have one, but I'll continually watch film on all the guys in the NFL, and especially when the playoffs are happening, just try to learn their technique and learn how to play, how fast they play, and how hard they hit.
What's one part of the safety position that's a bit underrated? Maybe fans don't necessarily think about in terms of thinking about the position.
I mean, you're the last line of defense, and any touchdown. You're going to see the safety in the picture somehow, some way, because he's that guy in the back, and that's a hard job to do. A lot of times you're going to be the one that's getting pointed fingers at for the touchdown, but no one ever knows what happens. So you got to be back there, be a field general. You got to get the guy down before he scores, and live to play another down.
Tyree, best of luck throughout the rest of this week and then throughout the draft process.
Appreciate it. Thank you.